Power's Ultimate families. Everybody doing out there? Today we're going to debunk pharmacy, right? Now, Brother Polite had hit on this, but it was a small clip of it. So I'm going to go ahead and debunk exactly what he meant. And we're going to dive deeper into this, right? You get pharmacy, pharmaceutical, right? We know these words today, right? The art of preparation of medicine, right? Pharmakeia is the preparer of drug and poison, right? The pharmacy is considered a drugstore these days, right? Remember, drug and poison. Pharmakeia is the same representation of this word, right? Let's go here. Fair make on, right? To make something, to conjure, right? Drug, poison, and spell. Remember that. Pharmakeia, as Brother Polite was talking about. If you look up the Greek lexicon, now these are Greek Latin words, right? And if you look up the Greek lexicon, in the Bible they talk about sorcery. This is what they're talking about. Pharmakeia, sorcery, right? To go down to what we was talking about today, Brother Polite hit on this. Right aid. Right, as he said, it could have been as in the opposite of left or correct, but it's R-I-T-E as in ritual, right? Aid, as in helper, assistant, or sorcerer, right? Now this is the 1800s. We're talking about the 1500s, all the way to the 1800s, right? Now, let's jump into the 1800s around Carnegie and Rockefeller when they made their amends together. What they was doing was medical monopoly, right? And all of this is facts. You can look it all up. This is medical monopoly. They was taking control of petrochemical education around the 1800s when they first started the boom, right? They developed the AMA, the American Medical Association that we know of today, right? Keep CVS in mind. We talked about Rite Aid and where it came from, but keep CVS in mind. Convenient value store, right? Back to the 1800s, they did the AMA, American Medicine Association, right? Let's jump to 1923 through 1925. 15,000 chiropractors was without jobs. 10,000 herbalists was without jobs. So when they developed the AMA, what they was doing was we had abundance of herbalist doctors, homeopathic doctors, naturopathic doctors, herbal collective doctors. We're talking about slave voodoo healers, right? We know about that even the slave owners was using the voodoo doctors. We had Mexican, Olmec, Aztec doctors around this time. We had so-called American Native doctors around this time. Right? We had French and Haitian voodoo doctors around this time as well. Now, these was people who was without jobs. We're talking about almost 30,000 people, right? Without jobs, because now what they practiced on all their life and what their grandmothers taught them was now illegal to practice due to Carnegie and Rockefeller. Now, the caduceus, we're talking about Hermes. This is the medical symbol you see with the serpent on it. Right? When you see the ambulance, the serpent representing the serpent kundalini energy wrapping up trying to target the third eye. We get to meta, right? As in medicine, you get meta, right? Referring to itself, the higher perspective. This is when we talk about meta-humans. You should look that up. A lot of information just came up about meta-humans, but you should look that up. Meta-scene, right? Scene, C-I-N-E. As in motion picture, right? As in illusion. Back to 1869, the first most commercial drug that they gave us was chlorohydrogen. It was a sedative of hypnotic. They was putting us in a trance. It was putting us in a ritual to control our minds. Like I say, it was back to Hermes and the serpent and the Kundalini meditation energy in the third eye. They was trying to stop what we were doing for thousands of years, tapping into the sun and tapping into other naturopathic gods through naturopathic remedies. Now, anybody who studied herbiology now, or these so-called witch doctors now, and naturopathic doctors now, you understand that we deal in this type of information. But we need to let everyone else know that it was happening on a bigger scale with this pharmacy. Now, back to Carnegie and Rockefeller, and what they was doing to put us out of business was the CVS's, the consumer value stores, the convenient value stores. They was making the medicines super cheap because they knew how hard it was for us to get in our gardens and grow it and then be able to give it to the people in the city, give it to our loved ones, right? So they mass production. This is when you see Monsanto companies come up. This is when you see mass producing convenience stores come up. And they put these 30,000 people in 1923 and 1925 out of business. So now fast forward until 2021, we see what it is with, or 2016 of how they did Dr. Sebi, right? We understand what's going on now. So we have to rise up above the ignorance and get up on this knowledge, get up on this information, because the pharmacy, as we know, is taking us in the pocket and taking us in the body and the spirit now, as we know. Power's ultimate, families. Everybody.